New tonight, Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene now suggesting people who are encouraging vaccinations could be shot. Listen to this.
You lucky people here in Alabama might get a knock on your door because I hear Alabama might be one of the most unvaccinated states in the nation. Well, Joe Biden wants to come talk to you guys. He's going to be sending one of his police state friends to your front door to knock on the door, take down your name, your address, your family members' names, your phone numbers, your cell phone numbers, probably ask for your social security number, and whether you've taken the vaccine or not. Yeah, well, what they don't know is in the South, we all love our Second Amendment rights. We're not real big on strangers showing up on our front door, are we? They might not like the welcome they get.
Yeah, she's clearly riling up a crowd and in support of pulling a gun on someone trying to save lives. And it is simply not true that Joe Biden's sending people to get your information like your social security number. And it's just flat out sad that people cheered about Alabama's poor vaccination rate. Yet this rant comes amid a disturbing warning from local health officials. They're being threatened simply for urging people to wear masks or get vaccinated. Out front now, Lori Tremble Freeman. She's the Chief Executive Officer of the National Association of County and City Health Officials, which represents about 3,000 local health departments across the country. Thank you for being here. It's your members who are the ones being threatened and sounding the alarm here. And now you hear this from the Republican Congresswoman. What's your reaction?
It's so disheartening and distressing to hear this kind of message, and it really gets at the heart of the public's trust in our government and messaging around solid public health measures based in science. Our local health officials who are working on the ground are not political. They're completely apolitical. They have one mission in mind, and that is to keep their communities safe and healthy by enacting measures that do that very thing. And they've had a hard time during this pandemic with the politicization of their work.
Look, it's crazy to think local and national figures trying to inform and protect people would face these threats. But that is what's happening. Let me play two examples.
Well, they showed up around 9 a.m. to give a little protest that they didn't want their children wearing masks, turned into literally dousing it with lighter fluid, burning it in a pan, and chanting, teachers are child abusers, teachers are murderers. When we got into the building, it escalated into more banter and disagreements and so forth.
Getting death threats for me and my family and harassing my daughters to the point where I have to get security is just, it's amazing.
What are the threats that your members are receiving, Lori?
They really run the gamut, and it's been happening throughout the pandemic, but it's really starting to ratchet up again with the new mask guidance coming out from the CDC. The types of threats can come largely also from social media, where people can hide behind their screens and their identity a little bit more safely. But those threats, sadly, can be even more serious than some other threats that we see happening. We also see protests happening at school board meetings where our local health officials are giving advice, at council meetings where in some states there are actually individuals coming to the meetings with guns on them. They're carry weapons or concealment carry weapons, but in public coming to these meetings, very intimidating for our local health officers. But also calls, you name it, they're getting threats in all kinds of ways and being intimidated in every way you can imagine.
Look, in the middle of this, I'm just wondering, how worried are you that this kind of these ongoing threats are just going to force these people to just give up and leave their job?
Unfortunately, we've already seen a lot of that happen. We're well over 250 state and local health officials who have either resigned, been fired, or taken early retirement during the pandemic. And so I anticipate that we'll continue to see our local health officers and the staffs that serve their departments continuing to depart. We recently did a survey on the mental health of our local health officers and their staffs, and it was really distressing to see that 53% are suffering from mental health effects from really addressing this pandemic.
I'm so sorry to hear that in the moment that they're needed the most right now. Thank you so much. Out front next.